Hello everybody, my name is Ivan Ethos, and welcome to Warframe Intermediate. Today we're going to be talking about something really simple that I don't feel like I've ever covered, and I really think I should. So today we're going to be talking about Specters and gear slots. So for those people who don't know where gear is, you equip and unequip gear in your arsenal in what they call the gear wheel. The gear wheel is an infinitely spiraling spoon of death. It will constantly keep going. You can keep adding all kinds of stuff to it. Now, the gear we're going to be talking about particularly energy restores, health restores, ammo restores, and specters. So, what are specters? Well, specters are a layout of a warframe. You can build them in the gear section of the foundry, and you collect them by doing rescue missions. So depending on the difficulty of the rescue mission, you will get Vapor, which is 1 star, all the way up to, I believe, Shadow or something. There's Phase. God, what was the name of the really strong ones have a special name for them. I can't remember, like Fate, yeah, I'm not even going to try to name them. So, the stars are what's important, because the stars are going to tell you what level they're going to be at compared to the enemies when you drop them. So a 1 star is going to be the same level as, and of course you can create 10 of them at a time, which is super useful. A 2 star is going to be, I believe, 5 levels above. And then upwards from there, you're going to be running yourself into, I believe it's 10 to 15 levels above the current enemies. Which means their weapons scale up, their abilities scale weirdly. They're interesting. Also, Phase is the most powerful. Cosmic. Cosmic, my bad. Cosmic. You only get Cosmic Specters from level 25 plus rescue missions, or Nightmare missions have the highest chance. You can also get Syndicate Specters, as you've probably seen, like the Ancient Healer, or the Chargers, or the Roller Balls, which are Spices. And there's miscellaneous ones like Clem and Shockwave Moas and things like that. Corrupted Bombardiers, Equinox even has one from Metamorphosis, or Wukong has this one from Celestial Twin. Now, one of the things that's very important to remember is that each one of them, each Warframe that you put together, has its own abilities. So I build a Phase Spectre. First of all, this is what my Phase Spectre will have as an output, because this is my current output. I have Gara as a Warframe, I have a Miter, Axtiletto, and the Vitus Arm of Glass. This is not necessarily a good Spectre. And I'll tell you why. Because the Gara Spectre does not act the same way as the Gara character. For example, the Gara Spectre will cast my first ability every 12 seconds if there's an enemy within 5 meters, but it will not cast Splinter Storm. And it will cast Mass Vitrify when enemies within 7 meters for a cooldown of 70 seconds. Which means unless I have, a lot of duration, my Gara is not going to be able to do much. And it will not shatter my Mass Vitrify with the Shattered Lash. So not necessarily the best thing in the universe. No, instead, a good kind of way of doing this, I know I have lots of Warframes. And not everyone's going to have this option. But if you watch your dev streams, you watch your prime times, you watch, the TennoCon, and you get those Twitch Prime kind of deals that go on, you should get a couple extra slots for Warframes and a couple extra slots for weapons. Sell the Warframes that you don't care about, and get the ones that you find useful. And trust me, there are some useful ones. Trinity Prime, for example, is a good one to have, because Trinity Prime will use her abilities to support you. Now, her abilities may not be the best, but it will cast Well of Life when the player's shields are depleted, even if no enemy is present. So, it will actually help there. When an enemy is in line of sight, it will cast Energy Vampire, which is useful. And it will cast Blessing when player health is below 70%, with a cooldown of 1 minute. So it can be a very useful Spectre. Personally, Again, this requires you to play the game a bit. I like Wisp, because Wisp's buffs are permanent, and they exist as long as she's in play. And to be fair, she's a little hard to kill, especially when she actually, and her buffs may not be as strong as my buffs that I have. Even if she has the same mod loadout, she's not going to have the same power and everything else when she becomes a Spectre. So what I normally run is I run Wisp with a couple of powerful weapons like the Ignis Wraith with my Slash build, which I believe I told you guys about before, my Glass Eye with its extremely high crit build, and my Paracesis, which has a very high damage and crit build as well. Now why? Because that gives her some damage output along with her utility. So I just simply go here and make 5 Phase Specters using this as an application. Now they take 8 hours to complete in the case of Phase Specters. And Vapor Specters appears. My Vapor Spectre used to be Rhino Prime with the Arc of Plasmor, because he would use his buff Roar, making me stronger. And that's another thing that's important, is that the buffs are awesome. And that's one of the reasons why you want Specters, is that you can have a loadout of each of the Specters at a time in your gear wheel. It's not super hard to have, a good selection of Specters. I already have a 4 Spectre here. These are all Wisps. I only have 6 left, but they're all Wisps, and I can drop one, and if I drop another one, it replaces her. So I don't want to keep doing that. But I do want to have my 4 Specters so that when I'm running a mission as a Gara or any other Warframe, I can just drop my 4 Spectre if I think I need extra help. And she will provide cover fire, and she'll provide buffs, all of which are super, super handy. Will not tell you that they are not. And it kind of comes down to what you want to see. Do you want to have more damage on your team? Do you want to have control effects like Vauban could give you? Do you want to have, corrosive with Saren Prime or Saren? Do you want to have, healing effects like Oberon will provide? Do you want to have just grouping abilities like Nidus, Slova, or Speedva, which will give you from Nova, Mesa? All these Specters have their benefits, some more so than others. People don't like Loki for whatever reason to be a Spectre. I understand that. Some people don't like to have people like Garuda, since she only uses one ability, really, to cast, which is her 4th. So it really kind of depends on what you want to see with your Warframe. Well, what is going to best complement your Warframe? Because you have to remember, their abilities are not the same. Even if they're supposedly going to be copied over, but they have their baseline abilities. So they're not going to have the mods. They're just going to have the baseline abilities. But they will have like the increased shields, armor, health, and that kind of stuff from those mods. But they won't have like power strength, power speed, all that other stuff. So it's best just to build the ones you're putting on there with a good amount of health and defenses, and then let them run with their basic abilities, because they're going to do some great work for you. Now beyond those, in gear, you have team energy restores, which are by far one of the most useful thing, often referred to as pizzas, in all of the game. Because, as everyone should know here, energy is your lifeblood. Without it, you will die in most situations and most circumstances. Few Warframes can survive without their energy pools. Healdron uses shields, so she doesn't have to care, and in the case of some frames, they use their health, they don't have to care either, such as Garuda. But for every other frame, especially, not Lux, went to the wrong game there. Gara, she needs her energy. So it's important to build these. You have to farm Polymer and Nanospores, but they take only 9,000 credits beyond that, and they build in a minute. I have 353 of them. They build 10 at a time. You get these particular times 10 in Dojo. So if you're not a part of a clan, become a part of a clan. Go to the Energy Lab, the Chemical Lab, and the Bio Lab. All 3 of those labs will give you the times 10 permanent blueprints that you can use over and over and over again. Bio Lab will give you Health Restore, the Energy Lab gives you Energy Store, and the Chem Lab gives you Ammo Restore. You should never have to necessarily use ammo or health restores unless you're having some problem, but energy restores you're always going to find useful. So build them. As you can see, I also have some of the other Specters here. Ancient Healer Specter is really kind of cool because it will reduce the damage on even objectives it take, so pretty useful there. These are just items that you have to use for a particular event that already happened, which in this case was Plague Star. Roller Specter, no one loves them. No one loves them at all. Arcwing Launcher, no longer need to have more than one. You used to have to keep building more and more and more, not so much anymore. Ciphers are useful for people who don't like to do the ciphers. They can just make them. Again, they take a minute. They take 100 credits, 400 ferrite, 400 salvage. Super easy to make. And you make one at a time, however. And then you can just click the button and finish the ciphers. The only place where these will not work are in sortie missions. In sortie missions, you have to have the skills to actually break down those hacking. Otherwise, you are screwed. Lock pins, which are nice little persistent waypoint markers. In case you need to have a place that, oh, this is where the next thermia fracture is. This is where we need to go to do this. Good way of doing that. For Morian Disruptor, another event thing. The Apothects are also, those are a quest thing. Razorback Cypher is an event thing. Most people will have this squad energy restore, but once again, you want the times 10. The times 10 is actually far more useful. Because again, you get 10 at a time. It's more efficient on resources, credits, and time. So, the bare bones of this video, I just wanted to let people know that those are two very important things you want to have going for yourself. Going forward into Warframe, you need to be able to have energy restores, and Specters are probably going to be something that you're going to want to keep around, because having Specters are going to allow you to do crazy things in missions when you are like, oh no, I have to defend this mission point and there's no one joining my group, so I might as well drop a Specter, and then at least I will have some extra fire that I can tell them to stay there, and they're able to stay there and fire and protect this pod or protect my enemy, protect my agent, and I can run around and do what I need to do. Hands down, Specters are one of the greatest things you will ever come across. So, with that in mind, again, energy restored in the energy lab of the dojo. Once you build anything, you have to set it in your gear wheel, which again, arsenal, gear wheel, and add it to your spin. So, all these other things you can add through here. It is also, for anyone who is curious, how you do things like your spears, or the scanners, or even your dragon keys. Dragon keys, you get them from the dojo as well, and in order to actually use them in a mission, you have to build them and equip them. Otherwise, you will not have access to them. So, with that in mind, that was the basic of this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I hope you got a lot out of it. I know it was a short one, but it contained a lot of information that is important for people who want to go beyond the basic level of gameplay. I hope pretty soon here to do a video about parkour and how to more maximize your mobility and your fire rate and what to practice. So that will be probably my next video. In the meantime, if you guys like the video, please hit the like button. If you want to subscribe to see more of these kind of videos, please do. Wow, losing my brain a little bit sick. Sorry about that. So, in the meantime, I hope everybody has enjoyed this. Hope you leave some comments. Let me know how I did. Let me know if there's any feedback you'd like to kind of give me. And until next time, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And most importantly, have a safe day. Bye, everybody.